In today's rundown, we are talking about how glad we are that Oracle did not buy TikTok.
Then we're talking about Triller faking their numbers and Bitcoin hitting a $1 trillion market cap. Stay tuned.
It is Monday, February 22nd. This is the Piper Rundown. We analyze business and culture to help you win. Today's rundown is presented by JetStore. Now we're covering some big data stories today, some scary stuff. We want to make sure that your data is secure, and JetStore can help with that. JetStore has been providing affordable, reliable, and easy to manage data storage and cloud solutions to over 4,000 customers worldwide for over 26 years. JetStore offers storage systems for private cloud hosting, video surveillance, Internet of Things, AI, machine learning, edge computing, data archiving, HPC, media production, medical imaging, and flight simulations. For more details, visit jetstore.com. Thank you for sponsoring the rundown.
Late summer, early fall of last year, there was a story that gripped the headlines of this program, gripped the headlines of many technology and business-oriented news outlets, and that was the executive order issued by the Trump administration forcing the sale, the divestiture of the US-centric TikTok platform from the Chinese-owned ByteDance media conglomerate. That sale was never seen to fruition, but it was packed with drama because it was related to US-China relations. Yep. It was a competition with a bunch of entities that are under antitrust scrutiny not being able to put in a bid, and then other enormous firms like Walmart and Microsoft kicking tires and trying to get involved in some way, shape, or form. And out of the chaos arose a leader in the clubhouse, so to speak, for the eventual potential purchase of the TikTok-related assets. And it was a company called Oracle. If you are of an older generation, you're super familiar with Oracle because they were one of the predominant and preeminent technology players helping other firms set up their on-premise servers and eventually begrudgingly moving into the cloud to compete with companies like Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. But their founder, Larry Ellison, who was a ardent supporter and fundraiser for the 2020 Trump re-election campaign, was given kind of an inside lane preferential access to that. And in general, there was an acknowledgement that it was probably good that the data collected by users on the TikTok platform would not be housed in servers based in the US's largest geopolitical rivals nation, but as opposed to moving that offshore into the clutches of a Western-based firm.
Yes, and at the time when this was all going down, I remember us being so distinctly skeptical that Oracle would end up getting this deal. It was when Microsoft was really on the rise, and we were like, there's no question that Microsoft is going to be the winner here.
Right. And basically, the deadline that was imposed by that executive order passed, no sale was made, and one of the multitude of activities that the Biden administration declared once it moved in was that that sale was going to be postponed until further notice. So in all likelihood, there will not be a forced divestiture. And because of the nature of changing headlines, it's very likely that people, forget it, on to the next story, on to the next thing. The Intercept has dropped over the weekend a really weird, gross piece outlining some of the implications of what could have been that Oracle purchase. So we're really skewing into the less like tangible this thing happened, and more into the speculative like this could have happened, oh imagine. But it's fascinating, it's gross, and it's one of those things that makes government meddling explicitly in the forced transactions of different parties icky, laden with ethical and moral risks. And that report basically said that Oracle is actively selling and marketing a suite of products that is used for criminal analysis and prediction. What their marketing materials suggest and lay out is that their expansive capabilities in big data and data management would allow security forces, police forces in different provinces, including Xinjiang, which is where more than 1 million Muslim Uyghurs are being held in genocidal concentration camps, would be able to use technology that leverages the unification of license plate data, DNA records, social media posts, hotel registrations, and facial recognition technology into a larger surveillance state police cloud. Now, the issue here is that the whole professed value system of the forced divestiture of TikTok was this is going to be taken from the immediate purview of an authoritarian single-party government that has unilaterally and consistently taken from private enterprises what it wanted for its own needs into the arms of an entity that was not beholden to such forces. However, if, we don't know the exact numbers of this, but a deal for those type of services, that's not a couple $100,000, that's not a couple $1 million. We're talking about tens, likely hundreds of millions of dollars worth of revenue for a service like this. And if, in conjunction with these services, you might be able to offer the continued access to, influence over this thing that you were forced to divest from, well, that would sweeten the pie and likely make that sale easier to come true, which is basically a proxy for potential for bribery.
Yeah, a little bit. It just makes my skin crawl, all of it.
The other part that will make your skin crawl further is that Oracle works with all 5 branches of the US military. So that is actually part of the marketing materials as they're offering this to security services in the, once again, immediate geopolitical adversary is, hey, we also serve your enemy.
Yeah.
Just gross.
Disgusting.
Yeah, I don't have much more to say other than I guess I'm glad. Like, I don't even know what I'm glad of. Like, I'm glad it didn't end up in Oracle's hands, but I'm not particularly glad that it's still owned by ByteDance. Like, it just sucks.
It sucks that it didn't come out earlier. Like, how did this get slept on the first time around? Maybe there were hordes of really smart people who knew what was up, but like to the general public, it was all just a headline race back when this deal was first.
I also think that there's just a ton of people that like don't necessarily have the sophistication of who's running big enterprise sales plays into that specific market, and simultaneously any sort of clarity as to who was actually a front runner. Like, it was all speculation. There was never an actual agreement that like this is the person that will be buying it. It was always like this entity's in the lead, then this entity, and we never really knew. Right. So it was very hard to like tie it all the way back, but they have ample amounts of documents backing this up. They have a ton of the actual like marketing materials that Oracle was putting out there for these explicit purposes, and
it is like the other part of this is the Oracle CEO, Safra Catz, I believe that's how to pronounce her name. She was very involved with the Trump 2016 transition committee. Like, she sat on that committee and
active fundraiser, billionaire active fundraiser. Like, you're going to be influential in an administration.
Right. So like
both sides.
Obviously we know why they got the deal in the first place, and it's just gross. And the other thing it just is absolutely despicable is I took this directly from the Oracle human rights statement.
Yeah.
It says that they conduct due diligence and take other measures to avoid exploitation of people via forced labor, human trafficking, and child labor, which, if they're in bed with the police departments involved with like the Uyghur camps, it's disgusting. It's despicable.
Yeah. So we were hopeful when all this was going down that maybe people would move onto a different service run by someone marginally more ethical, and perhaps also offer competition against TikTok, which generally be a winner for users when there's competition. Facebook, as it's slowly eliminated all its competition for other social networks, has made it a less enjoyable, valuable, useful experience to its users because of the lack of competition to challenge it. That's why things like Clubhouse and Dispo and these other ones are potentially exciting, that they might create some competition, which would be a win for users. Triller was supposed to be that, but it turns out that they also struggle with telling the truth in a different way, not quite as severe as playing both sides of a geopolitical battle like this. But Triller has, after reports coming out that they're inflating numbers, did not deny claims that they were inflating numbers. Instead, and this is an exact quote, chose to say that there is no legal definition of monthly active users or daily active users. PR reports went out, 50 million MAUs. Sources disclosed it's probably more like 25. And I get the hype, there's a lot of people using this, so therefore more people should come on and use it, blah, blah, blah. But they have a SPAC coming up. SPACs, a financial vehicle for going public that is under significantly less due diligence and scrutiny than a conventional IPO or direct listing. And this is if they're cooking this number, what other numbers are they cooking?
Exactly.
Is a reasonable question to ask.
100%.
I will not be buying Triller.
I don't think I will either. Yeah. Bogus.
That's such a thing though. It's legally, in legalese, we'll say everything other than denying the actual claim, and then you're just moving it from, they objectively admitted to it, versus they in no way, shape, or form have denied it. And that's how you have to report it.
Right.
What a world. Our final story is that over the weekend, Bitcoin crossed the $1 trillion market cap for the entity. All of the Bitcoin so far that have been issued, cumulative value on a per coin basis multiplied by the total coins equals more than $1 trillion in value. Now it has crashed in the last 24 hours to down to about $53,000 a coin, but hit an all-time high of $58,000 per coin. Still very frothy. We've talked about that a lot on this program, just worth paying attention to. And certain institutional investors, certain types of investors might see that as an actual barometer of taking something a bit more seriously, that it could reach such significant heights. And that is another major mile marker that's going to continue to get people's attention. But crazy times. I don't even know what to say. Stay safe out there.
Yeah, stay safe.
Not the most uplifting episode.
It's definitely not. But
what's something you're optimistic about? Let's change the energy.
I am optimistic about
snow melting on Wednesday.
Yes, super hyped about that. I'm optimistic about our team this week. I think we have a lot of fun projects coming out this week, and we're celebrating the Piper birthday this week, so I'm excited about that.
Is that Friday or Saturday, technically?
I thought it was Friday. Is today the 22nd?
You were the one who said at the beginning.
Yeah, so it's Friday. We'll be celebrating Piper's 3rd birthday on Friday. So happy birthday to us.
Very sick.
That's the rundown.
That's up.